How's it? Welcome to Cannabis Africa, your weekly digest of things hip happening in the African and international cannabis industry. Linda Siboto, how are you today?
Hi, Captain Trenton. Everything is good, man. Everything is awesome. I can't wait to hear about all the interesting news that's coming out of the Cannasphere.
Yeah, there's lots talking about today. We're talking about Lesotho export, apparently one of the biggest that's ever happened in the whole universe, to Macedonia. And we're also talking about the International Narcotics Control Board.
Wonder what that's all about. And we're going to be also hearing about Beyonce Knowles, who's suddenly entered the cannabis business. And she's got her own hemp farm, apparently, and her own CBD products. So I'm very interested to hear about that. And also Forbes apparently is killing the stereotypes around stoners. I'm very much interested to hear more about that.
Absolutely. Well, without further ado, let's cross over to Brett Hilton-Barber in Limpopo province for the news.
Hi, in the Canosphere news today, coming to you from a sunny but chilly Limpopo province. Lesotho cultivator Highlands Investments has clinched the biggest legal dagga deal ever. That's a whopping 8.5 tons of THC and CBD dried flower and trim to be delivered to North Macedonia. This represents the rest of Highlands' 2021 harvest, and as CEO Mark Corbett says, it was the result of a lot of hard work, but he's on top of the world.
I mean, it feels absolutely amazing, you know, and I think a lot of people have spoken about, you know, how long it must have taken to get that deal over the line. But the reality is, you know, it's been a year's worth of work to do that, but it's really 3.5 to 4 years worth of really hard graft to get the business in a position whereby we can create and generate, you know, 8.5 tons worth of certified high quality cannabis at price that are in demand in Europe. So, you know, I think it's a huge feather in our caps, and it feels like a real validation of all the hard work we've been doing over the last couple of years.
The order is so big that it'll be shipped in 2 tranches. Altogether, it'll take up 120 pallets and 4 40-foot containers. It'll be exported later this year in a high-security cross-border exercise, which will see the cannabis transported from Lesotho to OR Tambo into a bonded warehouse. Then the Balkans will send a chartered aircraft to pick up the merch and take it back to the North Macedonian capital of Skopje. Corbett says the Balkans offer a convenient entry point for African exporters wanting to get into Europe.
I think there are a couple of springboards into the EU, and Macedonia is one of those, and they're allowed to export extract into the EU. So what we do is we're taking flour in there, and they're extracting it in Macedonia, and then they're taking the extract across the border. So yeah, I think it is becoming, I think Greece, Malta, Portugal are being set up as hubs for springboarding into the EU marketplace, which is, you know, the largest marketplace, but more complicated to get in from places like Africa.
That's Highlands Investments CEO Mark Corbett. Canadian bankers have been in Maseru to value Bopelo Bioscience and Wellness. That's the cannabis cultivation company that aspires to be the largest grow-op in the world. Bopelo's parent company, Halo Collective Canada, is spinning Bopelo off into a separate multinational called Akanda, which will be bundled with UK distribution company Medcan to provide another route to market for Lesotho cannabis. So Lesotho's batting high. In South Africa, Cheeba Africa has opened its second cannabis campus as demands for skills increase in the emerging marijuana economy. Cheeba's first campus in Gauteng on the Vaal River has already seen 200 people pass through its portals since it opened earlier this year. Now Cheeba's opened Cannabis Academy number 2 near Plet on the Garden Route. It's taking admissions for its basic cannabis course right now. Check out Cheeba's Africa's website on cheebaafrica.coza for further details. In international news, in an ominous sign for cannabis reformers, the International Narcotics Control Board looks like it's preparing a fight back against the global legalization wave. European Industrial Hemp Association says the INCB, which is a UN body, has a secret agenda to undermine the international cannabis economy. It says the INCB is preparing a report that will recommend that hemp be classified as a controlled substance, which would be at odds with far-reaching hemp industry reforms that are currently underway. There's also backroom talk that the INCB will have the authority to impose quotas on cannabis-producing countries, and with the suggestion that the current South African quota would be around 500 kilograms. There's going to be much export market getting off the ground in South Africa if that's the case. All the more reason to develop a strong local market. What do you think, Trenton? It's back to you.
First of all, I think the International Narcotics Control Board are in the business of controlling narcotics. Cannabis is not really a narcotic; it's a medicine. So I don't know what they're doing with that.
Yeah, no, it is quite sinister because this is a body that doesn't keep minutes. It's and it's involved with a lot of prohibitionists on the board, and you can understand. It represents conservative countries to some extent who are worried about cannabis legalization, and I suppose its job would be to balance international trade to some extent, but I think its input into market economics is only bad news.
I absolutely agree. I mean, we should be moving forward. It's the same with, I read something the other day about in the States that the FDA have come out and said that they think CBD should be under prescription only. Did you read that? And I was just like flabbergasted, like what century are we actually living in?
I think one mustn't lose sight of facts, Trenton, and especially us living here in Southern Africa and South Africa. Cannabis reform, legalization is part of the current debate. I mean, it's not coming from left field. And there are not that many countries in the world where it's so infused in our culture and is part of the national discussion. And we take for granted that we see the benefits of a cannabis economy, and that's not necessarily the case in other parts of the world.
No, absolutely. I just want to say also, well done to Highlands for that export. It's really exciting. I just imagine being the logistics manager, trying to get that stuff from the airport, Tambo. Hopefully they're flying it from Lesotho and not doing it by road. Otherwise they have to have some pretty big machine guns. But yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, it's a really great step forward. So congratulations.
It's going by road it's going by road in armored vehicles with armed security. And can you imagine it's going to be flown out by chartered aircraft to the Balkans? It's like a James Bond movie, actually. And there's a whole hijack drama waiting to happen, but let's not get there.
Yeah. Anyway, well, yeah, good news, and things are moving forward. That's really exciting. Let's cross over to Noxy in Johannesburg for Canna Lifestyle.
What's up, everybody? Well, in Canna Lifestyle News today, R&B superstar Beyonce recently sat down with Harper's Bazaar magazine and shared how she discovered CBD on her last tour. She spoke about how she has experienced its benefits, how it assisted her with soreness and inflammation, as well as helped her with restless nights and agitation that comes from not being able to sleep. And naturally, as billionaire celebrities do, Beyonce also announced that she is building a hemp farm. I mean, by openly discussing her use of CBD, she gives more people the courage to see if CBD can help them get into whatever formation they have been trying to achieve. Well done, Beyonce. And speaking of courage and open cannabis use, Forbes recently kicked major stereotypes to the curb with a recent study that shows that cannabis consumers are successful, motivated, and health conscious. There have been some long-standing negative stereotypes about cannabis consumers, which have contributed to a decade-long stigma that still lingers to this day. But new data aims to erase these harmful stereotypes forever. The study was conducted by cannabis tech company Dutchie, with 5,000 adults participating from the US and Canada. According to the study, cannabis consumers are highly educated, with 54% having a college degree or higher, and they are more likely to participate in the workforce than the average American. Cannabis consumers are not just stoners, they are high-achieving doctors, lawyers, mothers, teachers, creative, Olympic athletes, and Olympic commentators. 58% of respondents reported that being physically active and enjoying hiking was part of their daily routines. Furthermore, 57% call themselves health conscious. Overall, these people think that cannabis is better for their health than alcohol or tobacco, and many consider it a part of their overall health routine. Our favorite OG Snoop Dogg weighed in on the study, citing that I smoke cannabis, he said. I advocate for it on a personal level, but I'm also an investor and an entrepreneur. The opportunity in cannabis is clear, and this data highlights that consumers are highly educated with more buying power than these stereotypes would have you believe. And that's all from the Canna Lifestyle News Desk this Tuesday. Do share your comments with us and let us know your thoughts. Back to you, Trenton and Linda.
Okay, where do we start there? So first of all, I love the fact that the cannabis users go hiking. Okay, and on Instagram the other day, I saw these guys who have a hike, but it's spelled A-H-I-G-H, King, K-I-N-G. So they're hiking, which was actually like obviously a stoned hike. But I think it's what's amazing about that is that Forbes, we all trust Forbes as a good, solid news channel, and so I think it's really important. At the end of the day, like consuming cannabis does not make you ineffective. I remember when Elon Musk smoked a joint on the Joe Rogan show, and the share prices of his companies literally dropped overnight because the perception was Elon's a stoner. But he quickly recovered. So I think it's really, really fascinating that is something that's been done by such a credible publication. And I think, it just proves the point, that cannabis does not equal stonerism and lazy people on couches all day.
By the same token, I'd like to say that, Trenton, I mean, my experience here in Limpopo is that everybody, whether they're educated or not, is stoned most of the time. And, it's good to know that we are breaking the stereotypes of stoners, but they do, people who consume cannabis come from all walks of life, from all cultures and backgrounds. And I think that the point of the whole thing being that, yes, to break down the stereotypes, it is an everyday kind of phenomenon, especially here in Africa, and much more so than possibly America even.
I think also people would be really surprised to know the actual people that actually smoke or actually consume cannabis in their daily lives. And I think if the more people are coming out, prominent people, I think the more we're going to destigmatize this whole industry in itself, and that normal people actually do consume cannabis and live healthy, normal lives, and can hold jobs and can do everything else that everyone else can do.
Absolutely. What Noxy didn't mention was that what Beyonce is actually building is a honey and hemp farm. I mean, that's like, how sexy is that? Like Beyonce, the honey and hemp farm. It's got such like suave. They're those guys, like those, just have such class sometimes, and so super inspired. And it's good, she's coming out and she's being overt about it. I mean, Jay-Z has obviously got his cannabis brand, and it's nice that she's joining, but she's got her own angle and her own take on it. But it's just a great idea. So things are becoming normalized. That's why when we talk about the International Narcotics Control Board, I'm like, can you guys just crawl back to where you came from? You guys are old school. Get to the program. Let's all embrace this. Let's make sure that it's safe and that it's regulated and that the consumer, gets safe product. Times have changed, and those people just need to just go away, please.
Yes, and I think the point that you make is important as well for the development of a local market, Trenton, because we can't have our future cannabis industry being in the hands of a couple of relics of the past, providing quotas for us as to how much medicinal cannabis we can export to the likes of Germany or wherever. And but if that does happen and quotas do come in, we should have a local market to fall back on. In fact, we should have a local market to be able to develop brands for the international stage. It's like a very obvious and basic thing. And when will the government grasp that realization and make life easier for all of us?
Absolutely.
Perhaps they all should smoke a little more cannabis or consume more, since Forbes has listed it as, I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
little catalyst.
Just putting it out there, are you, Linda?
That's all I'm saying. A little suggestion.
In terms of the quotas, I totally support the quotas on one condition. That we can set them.
Oh, we set them, yes.
Because this is the problem. Those quotas are going to be set by who? The developing economies, who are, of course, going to protect themselves.
Okay, now here's something that you're going to have heard first for the first time on Canosphere. How about we propose a new grouping like OPEC, except it's from Southern Africa. We'll call it DOPEC, and we'll control the quotas and export how much weed we want to the rest of the world.
I love it.
I like that.
Done.
I like that.
Let's make it happen.
Dopec happening soon.
And on that dope note, I think it's time to say goodbye. We'll be back same time, same place. Linda Siboto, Brenda Hilton-Barber, thank you as ever. We'll see you same time, same place for everything cannabis in Africa. Ciao.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao. Ciao.